Why is it that the moment you step into the shower with shampoo in your hair and hot water running down your back, your brain suddenly decides it's auditioning for genius hour? You're scrubbing away, thinking about nothing, and then boom, out of nowhere, you've solved a work problem that's been bugging you for days or dreamed up an invention that could make you the next millionaire on Shark Tank. Somehow this tiled box of steam turns into your personal idea factory. It feels random, almost magical, but it's not. There's real science behind why your best ideas often show up when you're naked and soapy, and it all has to do with how your brain shifts gears when you stop trying so hard. Most of the time, your brain is like a high-pressure office with a boss breathing down your neck. Emails dinging, deadlines looming, social media screaming for attention. It's non-stop. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational manager of your brain, is working overtime trying to juggle everything at once. And that part of your mind is great when you need to pay bills, write reports, or remember to feed your goldfish, but it's terrible for creativity. Creativity doesn't live in the boardroom. It hides in the basement, waiting for the boss to go home so it can come out and rearrange the furniture. And that's exactly what happens in the shower. The warm water, the white noise, the routine of scrubbing and rinsing, it all signals to your brain that it can finally clock out of serious mode and drift into what scientists call the default mode network. Think of it like your brain's background DJ. It only starts spinning tracks when the main act gets off the stage, and those tracks, that's where your aha moments live. Now throw dopamine into the mix. Every time you step into a warm shower, your brain rewards you with a hit of this feel-good chemical. Dopamine is like WD-40 for your neurons. It makes them slippery, helps them fire more freely, and builds connections between ideas you never thought could be related. That's why you might suddenly think of a hilarious tweet while rinsing conditioner, or realize a new business angle while scrubbing your elbows. Dopamine doesn't just make you feel good, it literally greases the gears of creativity. Add it to the default mode network, and you've got a brain that's primed for breakthroughs. There's another thing at play here too, something researchers call incubation. Imagine your brain as a slow cooker. When you're consciously working on a problem, you're standing over the stove, stirring furiously, stressing over the heat. But once you step away, say into the shower, you toss all those half-baked thoughts into the slow cooker and let them simmer. Without you even realizing it, your subconscious keeps stirring the pot. Then suddenly, while you're rinsing shampoo, ding, the meal is ready. The solution bubbles up, fully formed, as if it came out of nowhere. That's why people throughout history have had eureka moments while bathing or daydreaming. Archimedes literally shouted, "Eureka!" in the bath. Newton had his apple moment while chilling under a tree. It's not random. It's the brain's slow cooker doing its thing. And the shower just happens to be the perfect kitchen. Part of the magic comes from sensory isolation too. The shower is like a homemade sensory deprivation chamber, minus the floating pot and creepy silence. The roar of the water drowns out distractions. The steam cocoons you from the world, and suddenly your nervous system relaxes. Your stress hormones take a back seat. Your body slides into rest and digest mode, and your brain says, "Finally, no emergencies. Let's get creative." The repetitive act of lathering, rinsing, and scrubbing is almost meditative. You don't need to think about it, which frees your mind to wander. And wandering minds are the birthplace of ideas. Picture it this way. Your brain is like a giant corporate office building. During work hours, the CEO, the prefrontal cortex, micromanages every move. Answer that email. File that report. Don't doodle during the meeting, but the second you shower, the CEO clocks out. The janitors, aka your default mode network, come out at night rolling chairs into weird corners, sticking post-its on walls, and connecting ideas that never got to sit together before. It's chaotic, but it's also where innovation happens. Neuroscientists have actually seen this on brain scans. When people relax, the control network goes quiet and the DMN lights up like Times Square. Creativity doesn't happen when the CEO is in the room. It happens when the janitors start throwing a party. There's also something primal about water itself. Humans evolved around rivers, lakes, and oceans. Flowing water has always meant safety, survival, and life. That's why watching waves can put you in a trance and why people spend thousands just to put fountains in their gardens. When you stand under a shower, your brain taps into that ancient comfort signal. Warmth and water tell your nervous system, we're safe. And only when you feel safe does your mind dare to play, to wander, to experiment. That's when you suddenly remember the perfect comeback to an argument from 3 days ago, or dream up the outline for your next novel. But here's the funny twist. It's not actually about the shower. The shower is just a reliable recipe for creativity because it combines 3 ingredients: mindless routine, a low-stress environment, and a dopamine boost. You could get the same effect from walking the dog, washing dishes, or staring out the window at clouds. Ever wonder why ideas hit while you're driving or folding laundry? Same principle. You're giving your brain the space to drift, and drifting is where the sparks fly. The shower just happens to be humanity's favorite version of that space because, well, everyone has to get clean. Of course, not every shower thought is genius. Sometimes you'll stumble out dripping wet, convinced you've just solved world hunger, only to realize your idea was, what if dogs could text? But that doesn't mean the process is useless. The very act of connecting random dots, even if they spell out nonsense, is training your brain to think more flexibly. Creativity is a numbers game. 9 silly ideas might flop, but that 10th one could be the seed of something life-changing. Your brain rewards the act of connecting ideas with a little dopamine rush, which is why every thought in the shower feels brilliant, even the questionable ones. And if you think this is just a quirky observation, look at the greats. Steve Jobs was notorious for taking long walks that mimicked the shower effect. Einstein loved daydreaming his way into breakthroughs. Writers, artists, and entrepreneurs have kept notebooks in their bathrooms just to catch those slippery soap bar ideas before they vanish down the drain. Psychologists even have a term for this: mind wandering. In the right environment, it's not wasted time. It's the assembly line of creativity. So next time you're in the shower and suddenly connecting dots between your grocery list, your childhood memories, and the future of space travel, remember that it's not random. It's your brain shifting into its best operating mode, dopamine flowing, default mode, network humming, subconscious simmering. You're not just getting clean. You're rinsing away distractions until only ideas are left. And sure, sometimes those ideas will be ridiculous, but sometimes they'll be brilliant. The trick is not to dismiss them. Keep a waterproof notepad, jot them down, and give your subconscious the respect it deserves. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The shower isn't just about creativity, it's also about perspective. When you step into that small square of steam, you're not just washing your body, you're symbolically washing off the stress, the noise, the residue of the day. That reset clears space for new mental furniture. Imagine your brain as a cluttered living room. All day long, people are dumping junk into it. Emails, arguments, traffic jams, to-do lists. By the evening, it's a mess. But the shower acts like a cleaning crew, tossing out trash, vacuuming the carpet, and suddenly there's room to notice the painting on the wall you hadn't seen in weeks. That painting is your idea. It was always there. You just couldn't see it through the clutter. And it's not just random clutter that gets cleared, it's emotional clutter too. Ever noticed how arguments feel smaller after a shower, or how decisions that seemed overwhelming suddenly shrink into perspective? That's because the sensory experience of the shower calms your amygdala, the brain's drama queen. The amygdala loves to blow things out of proportion, yelling, "This email is the end of your career," or "This fight means your relationship is doomed." But warm water and dopamine soothe it like a toddler with a pacifier. Once the amygdala chills out, your rational brain can whisper, "Relax, it's not that deep." That calmer perspective is the same state that breeds creative connections It's easier to solve a puzzle when you're not panicking about it. Now picture this. You're in the shower, lathering up, and your brain suddenly throws a wild mashup at you. Something like, what if coffee cups had built-in cookie holders? Most people laugh it off and rinse it away, but every so often, someone takes a silly shower thought seriously, and it changes everything. Countless inventions and businesses were born from what looked like nonsense at first. Velcro, inspired by burrs sticking to clothes. Post-it notes, born from a failed attempt at making superglue. Who's to say your shower brainstorm about socks that never lose their partners couldn't be the next billion-dollar idea? There's also the social side of shower thoughts. Have you noticed they often involve bizarre philosophical musings like, what if our pets think we're their pets? Or technically, cereal is just cold soup. These thoughts sound goofy, but they actually exercise your abstract thinking muscles. They force you to step outside normal categories and see the world sideways. And that sideways view, that's the birthplace of art, science, and innovation. It's the mental version of turning your head just enough to spot the hidden 3D picture in one of those magic eye posters. And here's the final kicker. The shower not only gives you ideas, it gives you confidence in them. Outside of the shower, self-doubt is everywhere. You write down an idea at work and immediately hear a critic in your head. That's dumb. No one will care. But in the shower, with steam fogging the mirror and water drowning out the noise, that inner critic takes a nap. For those 15 minutes, you're free to believe in your brilliance. And sometimes believing in your idea is the only step you need to carry it into reality. So the next time you find yourself humming under the spray, suddenly sure that you've cracked the code on life, don't dismiss it. That tiled box is more than plumbing and porcelain. It's a creativity chamber, a stress reset button, and a perspective machine all rolled into one. The best part? You already own it. You don't need a fancy meditation retreat, a $1,000 therapy session, or a psychedelic mushroom trip. You just need hot water, soap, and a willingness to listen to the wild parade of thoughts marching through your head. And if you really want to maximize it, treat your shower like a lab. Pay attention to the thoughts that bubble up. Some will be weird, some will be useless, but some will be gold. Keep track, test them, share them. The more you respect your shower brain, the more it will reward you. Because in the end, creativity isn't about grinding harder at your desk. It's about giving your mind space to wander, to connect, to surprise you. And the shower, steamy, soothing, and simple, is the best space humanity ever invented for that. If this breakdown of why your best ideas come mid-shampoo made you laugh, nod, or maybe inspired you to finally keep a waterproof notepad in the bathroom, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share this with someone who always says their greatest ideas appear when they're covered in bubbles. Who knows, your next $1 million breakthrough might be waiting behind tomorrow's curtain of steam.